Okay, so one of the things that you can do in ArcMap is add graphs and charts, and you can do it either within the program, and there's a how-to on making charts and graphs, things like that, in ArcMap using the data that you're also using for mapping. But you can also make these kind of graphs and charts and things like that in Excel. If you're familiar with Excel and a little bit more comfortable with it. Also, Excel has some graph types and chart types that ArcMap does not. Luckily, Excel natively reads the same data format that ArcMap uses to store attribute information. So if you open up Microsoft Excel and go to the Open File dialog box and browse to your data folder for this lab, and I have it in temp and here, you'll notice there are these, probably when you open it up, you'll have something like this would be your view when you're looking at the data folder. But Excel can read but not save anymore what are known as DBase files or database files, and luckily that's the same file format that ArcMap stores attribute data in. So if you wanted to make a graph of crime, for instance, you can open up the Farrington's Grove demographic and crime data, no problem, and you can mess around with it, but any changes you make won't be saved in this format, so you won't be hurting the data that also is you're using to map. Sorry. So anyway, here's the crime data here at the end: crime count, auto theft, etc. And if you want to make these more readable, you can. And you could make, for instance, a pie chart by summing up all of these values. Maybe you want to make a something like a 3D area graph. You can go here to insert area, and let's do a 3D block chart. And if you, let's see, maybe we, hold on, insert area, here's an area chart, and we've got all kinds of a mess here, but if we select data and we're careful with this, and unfortunately we've got to tell it exactly what we're graphing. But anyway, as you make, you can make a chart or a graph, and let's see here. Maybe we set this like so, and we insert an area graph. And with some messing around, you can get this to something that you might want to include on your map. And remember, you can select data here and also interrogate kind of what it's mapping out. So we call this total crime in 2008, and that's this blue here, and then maybe the second one is, I think, auto theft, and so on. You can also set the series names to be, let's see, horizontal category. Here you might want to set a range. I don't think that you can do it this way. You'd have to, mess around with Excel, make a graph that you like, and I actually already did that, so we don't have to spend too much time. Here is a pie chart just showing proportionally whether burglaries, unlawful entry, auto theft, and arsons are sort of a problem. Now notice my unlaw entry category here. That's probably not a clear enough title to put, and also colors are a bit of an issue. We might want to change the colors to be something that jives with our map. So anyway, you can then take this data or this chart and actually incorporate it into your layout in ArcMap. Believe it or not, copying and pasting it in there is simply, you make sure it's selected in Excel, copy it. You can kind of right click and go to copy, and then we can come over to ArcMap here and paste, and there we go. We can incorporate it into our layout somehow. Maybe we have it down here, I don't know, that's up to you, but it's pretty interesting. You can kind of add these things in as you go along. I believe that you can incorporate individual elements as well. Let's see if we have that selected and hit Control C, which is copy. We might be able to. No, it doesn't look like you can. You can take this and go to a different software program like Freehand and actually edit it as individual chunks, but that gets pretty advanced and isn't something we have to worry about in this course. And so there you go. You can mess around with graphs and things like that in Excel and incorporate them without too much trouble into your ArcMap layout.